Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, and now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Hi, I'm John Mallison. Welcome to this live edition of Connect with Me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this today, and we're talking about hunger, not only here in the Central Valley, but across the nation. 436 MeTV option 11 is the telephone number. Remember, turn down the sound on your TV set and do not wade through the message. A very serious topic today. We'll have the CEO of the food bank in talking about hunger in the Central Valley. Back in a moment. Back here on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this Wednesday morning. Glad to have you along. Remember the telephone number at 436 MeTV option 11 and turn down the sound on your television set or else we won't be able to hear you. And my friends, you will not be able to hear us. So it doesn't, and I've said this like a million times on this show. You ask better questions than your host about 99.9% of the time, so join the conversation. A very serious topic today. I'm still got Veterans Day in my brain for some reason or other. We had 2 great guests on Monday, Rudy Giannone and of course Earl Watson. They were in the Veterans Day parade, and yesterday a good show with Debbie Hergenrader, the head of Break the Barriers. Today though, a very serious topic, and it's a concern to all of us, at least it should be, not only during the holiday season because Thanksgiving is just around the corner, and usually when Thanksgiving hits right after Halloween we start thinking about, oh, we should go donate our time or donate money or donate a turkey maybe to the food bank or to the Poverillo house or whatever the case may be. Why is it that we always think about giving to others only during the holidays? Shouldn't this be a year-round thing? There are so many people that are in need right now, not only across the country, but right here in the Central Valley. People, it might be your next door neighbor or your neighbor across the street or down the street, that's hurting right now in terms of financially, in terms of food, in terms of how much is coming into the home. Maybe they have a family to support, 4 or 6 people. Let's go to the videotape. I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is the Community Food Bank of the Central Valley right here. It helps thousands and thousands of people each month, each year. It is an amazing place. You go in there, you ask for food, they give it to you. We'll talk to the CEO in just a moment about what the stock is like now in the building. How much food do they have on hand for the holidays coming up, not only for Thanksgiving, but for Christmas. The holiday season is fast approaching. 1 in 6 Americans go hungry. 1 in 4 adults here in the Central Valley. 1 in 3 children in the Central Valley go hungry. But the food bank, here it is, the inside. They're moving around all the goods there, as you see, serving so many people, about 190,000 per month here in the Central Valley. 30 million pounds of food per year. This is their warehouse. This is where they keep all the food. They also have a cold storage tank where they keep milk, cheese, and all the rest, ice cream even, my favorite. Anyway, the Community Food Bank serves so many across the Central Valley. They have roughly 170 nonprofit partners across the region. Live in our studio right now is Andy Souza, the CEO of the Community Food Bank. He is our live guest here. Yeah, we'd like you to join the conversation at 436 MeTV option 11. Do not wade through that message, and remember, turn down the sound. You might remember Andy's been here before. He's a former guest and also the former city manager for our great city of Fresno. We're back with the food bank topic of the day and also your phone calls in just a momento. Back in a minute.
Remember me?
After practicing law, Raymond Berg fought crime.
You have the right to an attorney.
As a hard-boiled detective on wheels,
Ain't it the truth?
His name is Ironside.
Perhaps you wouldn't mind saying it again.
His name is Ironside.
All right, now you've said it.
Nothing slows him down.
I want to see this one firsthand.
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
Well, what are we waiting for?
Back here on Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno, live on Comcast. Andy Souza, good to see
John,
you.
good
How
seeing you
are
again.
you?
Doing well, thanks.
We have a phone call right off the bat. Should we take it?
I would love to.
All right. Good morning. You're on with Andy Souza. At least you were there? No? Okay. Call back. 436 MeTV, option 11. Turn down the sound. Before we get into this, you know, how many Americans go hungry each day and how many here in the Central Valley? I want to ask you about your health. I know you had hip replacement surgery on both hips. How are you doing?
Yes, John, I'm doing great, thank you. I'll give a shameless plug for the folks over at Sierra Pacific Orthopedic. Great surgeons. It's amazing what happens today with surgery and technology. I feel brand new, like I'm, I wouldn't say 20 again, but feeling 30 again. So it's been quite a while since I felt this good.
Now, when did you have the surgery?
I had the first one done in May. The second one was done in September, and I've been off the cane for about 3 weeks now. So.
That's great.
Yes.
So are you going to go jogging again?
It'll be a while
Soon?
before I jog, but it's just
Okay.
really fun to be able to play with the grandkids. We were up in the mountains with the grandsons and our granddaughter this weekend, and it was just really fun to be able to get out and about.
Do they say it's okay to work your upper body, though,
Yeah.
still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
And you're
yes.
doing that?
Yes,
I
doing that.
assume. Yeah, just got to keep active, you know, no matter how.
Absolutely.
Hey, we got the phone call back.
Great.
I don't know who this is. Let's take it and see. Good morning. You're on with Andy Souza. Your question, please.
Yeah, I know you guys work with local churches and nonprofits, I guess, to distribute this food. But let's say, I mean, there's a guy that only lives, around the block from my house, and he'll come around with stuff that looks just like yours. It's the same thing, but he sells it for $10 a box. He said that's the only way he can get more food from you guys, if he has to sell it to us or to people. Because people line up to buy it. But it's the same stuff. You can go to a church, and I mean, it's the same stuff I've seen coming from the church I've lined up at. I'm just wondering, that's the way it works?
Absolutely not. Nobody who is an agency of ours is able to sell food. That's a violation of our operating. It's a violation of our agreement with Feeding America. So if somebody's telling you they have to sell food to be able to get more food from the food bank, I would suggest you take their name and information and call us, and we would love to meet with that person, because that's just not how it works. We
Is
do
that
not sell
illegal,
into the
Andy,
food.
or?
I wouldn't say it's illegal, but it's certainly immoral. I mean, they should
Yeah.
not be reselling food that they get from the food bank. That
Yeah.
would be really immoral at best, and it might potentially be illegal. But at the end of the day, if anybody tells you that you either have to make a donation or have to pay for food, it's not coming from the food bank.
Right. You know, the numbers that we discussed here, kind of staggering. 1 in 6 Americans.
Yes.
That's a staggering figure. That's across the country. Adults
Yes, John, it
that
really
go
is.
hungry each and every day.
Yeah, it really is.
How does somebody arrive at that figure?
There is a sampling that's done throughout the United States. It's done. Feeding America does one. The Food Research Action Council does another, and it's just like they do through census type of data. They go out and they meet with folks and they interview folks, and yeah, unfortunately, it is. It's kind of a hidden issue here in the States. We don't imagine our neighbors ever being hungry, and unfortunately, there's still a sense of almost shame and disrespect about being hungry, and so folks aren't often quick to tell about it.
Why are we seeing more and more people hungry, in your opinion, from all the research you've seen and the experts that you've talked to?
John, I think there's a couple factors. Like here in the Valley, primarily, number one is that we just haven't pulled out of this recession. We just haven't seen the rebound that has happened elsewhere in the country. Last year, the Brookings Institute reported that Fresno was 99th out of 100 in recovery. So we're seeing that, but also, John, when I was at that age, a young family starting out, if my wife or I lost our job, we could sell our house and downsize. With the housing market where it is today, a lot of families don't have that luxury. So it's just a combination of those factors, and it's the economy's tough right now. So we're seeing more folks coming to us for that reason.
Are you seeing more middle-class families than ever before?
Absolutely, John. We're seeing, we tell the story that there's a changing face of hunger. I mean, when people think of hungry people, your mind immediately goes to a homeless person or somebody kind of shabby on the streets. And the reality is it's in every neighborhood. It's in every neighborhood throughout. We track by addresses. We track by zip codes. And As a matter of fact, our latest agency is at the corner of Millbrook and Nice, and they're serving about 300 families every month. So the need is all over Fresno. It's no longer just in southeast or southwest, and it's no longer just in rural Fresno County.
Yeah, just in case you don't know where Millbrook and Nice is, that's just down the street from Clovis West High School.
Yes, it is.
Right near Break the Barriers there,
Yes.
and that very affluent neighborhood.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's amazing. Another phone call here on Connect with Me. Good morning. You're on with Andy Souza. Your question, please.
Yeah, real quick. What are they doing to change people's idea of this? Because it's not the powdered milk of when I was growing up, and this is pretty quality stuff. You know, it's good.
Well, one of the things we do is, again, that's the USDA program. It's a commodities that's done out of Washington D.C. It's a completely different program. It used to be the cheese and the powdered milk, and now it's everything from canned goods to chicken, oftentimes through the course of the year. So
you even have paper towels.
You saw we even have donated paper towels. There's times that we get all kinds of dry goods donated.
Cheerios.
It is a different. Food banking is a different world than it was 20 years ago, and I think what we're seeing is the needs of the communities are different, and I think we are able to provide a much more nutritious set of food than maybe ever in the past as well.
But what's so shocking is the middle class, and driving to work this morning, I saw somebody standing in the corner with the sign asking for money, dressed in a very nice shirt, khaki pants, no blazer, but look, he could come from your neighborhood or mine, very middle class. And we're seeing more and more of that. And it's because of the economy. Is it because people are losing jobs, maybe downsizing from full-time to part-time? Combination of everything?
John, I think it's a lot of those factors. And then it's also the, right now, again, as we haven't recovered from the economy, the recession, we don't have the breadth of jobs that maybe some regions have. We don't have, we have a lot of jobs that are going unfilled, partly because kids graduate from college and they're looking for that, first line position, and they end up leaving our region. And so there's a lot of those factors, but one thing we know for sure at the food bank is that hunger follows poverty, and it follows economic challenges.
If someone comes into the food bank with a wife, 2 kids, or even alone, dressed like you or dressed like me, will you still give them food?
Absolutely. Because, John, what we've learned through the years is you have to, the old adage, you don't want to judge a book by its cover, because you just don't often know what's going on behind the scenes in somebody's. The best example is a high school girl shared with me one of the very first distributions I went to. She was there getting food with her family, and she just shared with me that none of her friends know they're here. Both her parents worked, but they just weren't making ends meet. And the analogy she used was she felt like an empty eggshell, that on the outside it looked normal, but on the inside it was empty. And so she went about her life as if nothing was different. She wouldn't have friends over. She did some things to kind of hide the situation.
So her parents were both working full-time, not making ends meet.
Yes. Yeah.
And so she was there to help out.
Yeah.
Yeah. How important is it for people to donate? Crucial.
John, it's right? Huge. And we know this time of year is we're facing the holidays. And one of the things about the holidays is not only the stress on family budget, but holidays are a season of family, and families, when they gather together, tend to gather around food. And so for those families that are struggling, it's more than just now the physical side of hunger. It's also the emotional side. Now all of a sudden you don't have that food around the dining room table that other families do. And so it's pretty critical this time of year.
Yeah, happiness is having a full stomach. There's no question about it.
Absolutely.
And maybe a nice place to sleep, some nice clothes, and that's the most important thing, and your health.
Absolutely.
We all know that. We're talking with Andy Souza. He's the CEO of the Community Food Bank. They do a lot of things, and you can do a lot of things to help out the food bank. You can donate your time, donate money. You can donate food. You can do a lot of things. We're going to talk about that on the other side of the break. 436 MeTV option 11. Turn down the sound. We're back in just a moment.
When you're looking for KitchenAid innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, will help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified KitchenAid appliances save you energy and money, and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.
Your Your phone calls are important. Join the conversation if you want. 436 MeTV option 11. Remember, I always remind you to turn down the sound because we've had so many calls lately with people just, you know, the TV blaring in the background, and then we get feedback. Can't possibly ask any questions at that point. Anyway, we're talking with Andy Souza. Andy, you were the former, well, you were the city manager
Yes.
here in the city of Fresno. Now you're the CEO. Very well-respected individual. But as far as your perspective is concerned, when you were at City Hall, you had a lot of pressure on you. Obviously, it's, you know, it's not a position that a lot of people can handle with all that pressure. Now you're in a different kind of pressurized situation, much different. Is your perspective on Fresno, and as you look out at the community, is it different?
John, it really has. I mean, I really felt that while city manager, I knew Fresno. In many ways, I did. But it's not the same as knowing it neighborhood by neighborhood, church by church, family by family. We see things now through the food bank that we just didn't have the opportunity to see at City Hall.
Because you didn't have time.
Didn't have time, and we just weren't that close to the neighborhoods. You know, I often share with folks, I drive by buildings now that I drove by every day as city manager, and never once imagined that, you know, a couple times a month they're feeding 300, 400, 500 families out of those buildings. But John, for me, the biggest one was the fact that, you know, at City Hall you deal with numbers and you deal with statistics. At the food bank, those are real people.
Yeah. Another call coming in. You're on with Andy. Your question, please.
Yeah. Hey. Good morning, everybody. Andy, on the groceries or box items on expiration dates, are you allowable or legal to sell items that are expired? How do you go about doing that? Or give me I need your explanation on that, and I appreciate your answer.
Thank you very much. First of all, we don't sell anything. We do distribute food, and there are guidelines that the USDA provides as far as it's a best by and use by dates. Obviously, use by dates.
What does that mean? Yeah.
Use by means it needs to be used by a certain date, and there's usually about a week of lag time there. But best by simply means that the optimal date to use it by is a certain date. The product might diminish, but it does not become unhealthy after that date. So use by, whenever you see use by, is usually a health issue. It'll be a milk, it'll be a cheese, it'll be something that has
Is that date more critical with some of the milk products like cheese and milk and eggs and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, and meats, anything that could go bad, you really pay close attention to the use by dates. Your canned goods that are usually but they're even within those, there's a certain window of time. Then after that, we have to discard them, just like your grocery stores do.
Yeah, but I imagine you don't have that problem. You have a lot of people coming in and getting food.
We really do. Very rarely do we run into that situation. Or if it's something that a lot of times in a large canned food drive, there will be cans in there that are late that people maybe didn't know were late on stale dates. So.
Right, and you got to be careful of those dates. You got to look at those dates very carefully. I do at home with my own food because I have 2 kids and I don't want them getting sick. But getting back to your position as city manager, was it almost like being up in an ivory tower? You're not quite aware of what's going on downstairs?
You know, I think that was part of it, John. I think because you're dealing with the bigger picture issues, you're dealing with the development issues, so you can be a little bit removed from what's happening at the street level, for lack of a better term. Yeah.
Another call coming in. Hey, you're on with Andy Souza. Your question.
Hi, this is, well, I don't really want to say my name, but my husband's in the military, and I recently suffered a devastating fall, so I have to have surgery. And, you know, is there a special place where we go, military families? Or can we go to the food bank too?
Oh, you can absolutely. And what I would ask you to do is when you finish with this call, call our office at 237-3663 or 237-FOOD. And they will put you in contact with an agency that's close to where you're at. We don't want you to have to travel too far, but we'll put you in contact with an agency, and you absolutely have access to everything we do.
My husband's just so embarrassed, you know, so I'm just, you know, I'm calling and he doesn't know, so.
Well, we will definitely, you know, we believe in the guest of honor principle. We want to honor those people who come and for whatever reason are using our services. But again, it's going to be a very respectful and it's going to be a very dignified process, and we hope that we can reach out and make sure we help take care of those needs that you have right now.
Oh, I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the call, and good luck to you. Let's roll the videotape. We got some videotape of the warehouse out there at the Community Food Bank. And there are so many ways that people can help there. We're looking at some bananas. You can donate money, donate time, donate food. Food and fund driving efforts. Explain that a little bit as we go. Is it this the cold storage unit there?
Yeah, that's one of our coolers. And
okay.
A big part of, John, what we did is we have a tremendous amount of fresh produce donated to us. Obviously, here in the San Joaquin Valley, it's it would be naturally expected. We're going to probably get about 15 million pounds of produce distributed this year.
Wow.
Well over 12 million pounds of that donated. So it's a very generous local farming community. But having said that,
the food and fund drives.
Food and fund drives are wonderful. They're an opportunity for folks to get both fund resources and money as well as canned goods.
All right, another call. You're on with Andy. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to know what caused him, if anything, become the hammer for Fresno to now the safety blanket for Fresno. I mean, that's pretty big change.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the first part of the question. The hammer?
Are you there? Okay, I didn't get that either. I didn't understand that. Go ahead.
But John, a food and fund drive is an opportunity for a business to go ahead and do a canned food drive, as you see the barrels that we use.
Yep.
And in addition to that, folks have the opportunity to donate financially because, for us, the financial resources, it might sound rather mercenary, but we're able to stretch them quite a ways. As a matter of fact, for a $10 donation, we can feed a family of 4 for a week.
Yeah, we're talking with Andy Souza. We got a lot more questions coming up on the other side of the break, and your phone calls 436-MeTV. Option 11. Remember, you've got to turn down that sound on your TV set. Not sure if that last caller did that. That's why I might have had a hard time understanding him. But if you want, call back, 436-MeTV, option 11. We'll continue our conversation with Andy Souza of the Food Bank in just a moment.
1 Adam 12.
This is Adam 12. It stars Martin Milner as Officer Pete Malloy, Kent McCord as Officer Jim Reed.
1 Adam 12, roger.
This black and white patrol car has an overhead valve V8 engine. It develops 325 horsepower at 4,800 RPMs. It accelerates from 0 to 60 in 7 seconds. It has a top speed of 120 miles an hour. The automobile has 2 shotgun racks, one attached to the bottom portion of the front seat, one in the vehicle trunk.
You want me to drive?
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
And we have a phone call coming out of the break. You're on with Andy Souza. Well, at least you were. Call back, 436-MeTV, option 11. We were in the commercial break there. So, Andy, what does it mean to become a partner with your agency? How do you become a partner?
Sure. What will happen is if you're interested in doing a food pantry, you've got a situation in the neighborhood you're in, you see a need, it's not being met, you would contact us. We would come out. We would inspect where you want to, obviously for food safety issues, inspect, work with you on getting it started, getting the racking, getting the refrigeration that you would need. And then
so this would be a mobile pantry? Or?
You could do mobile, or you could do it, let's say Boys and Girls Club, a church, a community center, any place like that.
All right. Hope that's the same caller we had a moment ago. You're on with Andy Souza. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm the one that just called me. What I meant by hammer is that usually when you're a city manager,
yes,
isn't that you make the hard decisions, that affect other people's lives as far as job loss and all that other stuff. And now you're the people that you're there. When people are losing everything, you're their safety blanket.
That's a good analogy.
That's what I was saying.
That's very perceptive on our caller's part.
That's a very good question, and it was unfortunately as city managers sometimes you had to make decisions that. Honestly, you lost sleep over. I shared with my staff, if we could ever be in a situation where somebody lost a job because of a decision we made and we weren't losing sleep over it was time to go do something else. But having said that, now we're on the other side of that equation. Now we're in a situation where being that safety net, being that opportunity to step in, and John, you mentioned a little bit earlier about the stresses.
The pressures.
The pressures, the intensity of the stress is different at City Hall, but at the food banking, the stress is knowing that there's such a need out there, and knowing that every time we're not at our best, somebody might be going to sleep hungry.
Yeah, there's no question about it. I got to throw a little joke in here before we go to the videotape again. We've got one more videotape. As city manager, did you ever pull a Donald Trump? You're fired.
No, I didn't get to pull a Donald. But you remember when he was here on Money Wars? Yeah. That was a wild situation, though. That was before his days of The Apprentice.
Another call. You're on with Andy. How are you? And what's your question?
My question, I'm fine, thank you. My question is, if you were to, donate a specific amount of money, could is there a percentage, if any, that goes to paying for the staff or anything like that, or does how much percentage goes to buying food and stuff like that?
No, that's a very good question. And our last set of financial statements, and we like most nonprofits, release that information. Less than 2% of the money goes to our administrative costs. So we're pretty proud of that number. We, as I shared with John just before we went off the air for the last break, for every $10 that's donated to us, we can get enough food to feed a family of 4 for a week. So we're pretty proud of it. We're pretty efficient with the food that we have. So
yeah.
Thanks.
And with the food bank, where do you stand in terms of your volume of food that's there now? Is this the amount of food that's there now at the food bank, or are you a little bit low?
No, that was just last week. So
okay.
Within the warehouse, when we're full, we probably have just under 2 million pounds of food, 1.5 million to 2 million pounds.
So how close to full are you now? 3/4, half?
Oh, we're probably about 3/4.
Okay.
And but a lot of that, the need is going to be in the fresh produce and obviously canned goods this time of year.
What do you need most of, Andy?
I would say most right now is the financial. It's the resources to be able to go out and a lot of the produce that we distribute right now, we don't grow here. Potatoes are a heavy commodity this time of year, so we end up having to purchase those, and so which is transportation costs and all that comes into play. So resources, but obviously we know there's something inherently valuable about donating canned goods as well. So anything folks would want to send our way, we would definitely take them in.
The food bank is a nonprofit.
Yes, we are.
You get most of your money through donations?
Most of our money is through donations, yes.
And do you have any grants that you go
after?
We
do some grants. We do mostly corporate grants.
Right.
And then we also have a little bit of federal funding to help offset the cost of the USDA product, which we mentioned earlier used to be the cheese and dry milk, and now it's a very sophisticated program.
Right. I look at the numbers, and I guess we could get caught up. It's this is almost like talking about baseball. You can get caught up in batting averages, home runs, and all that kind of stuff. But the Food Research and Action Center, what organization is that?
That is a think tank out of Washington, D.C. that do a lot of policy work and follow-up work on hunger as it relates throughout the nation. All
right. Some of the latest numbers that I got, and you can update them from here. In 2009, I guess, Fresno went from having 24.1% of people that go hungry to more than 27% in 2010. Where do the numbers stand now?
It's right about back at that number 24% again. We're right now, we're the 4th highest food hardship rate in the country. Unfortunately, Bakersfield is the highest. So, John, if you think about the region between Bakersfield and Fresno, and you have Tulare and Kern County in between, Kings County in between, but unfortunately they don't have any cities that are large enough to be measured. So I think you could argue we have the highest concentration of hunger in a region that has the most fertile agricultural producing land in the country.
Do you consider yourself a more compassionate person now?
John, it's interesting. I had a friend of mine tell me that in the last 2 years he's seen me soften, and that
really?
meant a lot.
In what way?
Yeah. Well, I think it's just seeing the dealing on a closer basis with people that are struggling. I mean, at City Hall, you know the situation, but you know it in an abstract.
But you're limited at City Hall as to what you can do.
Yeah.
Everybody at City Hall is limited. Yeah. Wouldn't you say that's true?
Oh, absolutely, it is, and it's very structured, very limited. At the food bank, it is it's almost grassroots. I mean, we are truly dealing. I mean, we get the privilege of reaching out to people in a moment of need and getting a chance to be there beside them, hear their stories, but more than that, provide them with the means of getting through the month. So.
And I want you to give the phone number again a couple of times, and give the website in case people, and the address. They can go down and donate food.
Absolutely. The phone number is 237-3663. Our website is communityfoodbank.net. Okay. We're located at 3403 East Central, which is cross streets would be Central between Willow and Old 99 out in Malaga.
Okay.
But again, the
so
phone
that's
number,
off the 99.
Off the 99,
okay.
and then it's 237-FOOD, 237-3663.
Okay, and right at this moment, as of this program right now, at almost 11 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday, what do you need the most besides money in terms of food?
I would say food that is what you would think of as holiday food. What would you expect to see on your table for Thanksgiving dinner, for Christmas dinner? Those would obviously be the same thing that the families we serve would hope to be able to see as well.
Yeah, and hopefully, people will get the message that you have to donate your time, effort, and money all year round. Not just during the holidays. That's such an important message, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely, John. And we know people get busy through the rest of the year. We're all busy. We're all raising kids. We're all doing those things.
Nobody's thinking about that in March or April.
Right. And it's important for us to have situations like your show and other places where we can tell that story.
Andy, I wish you the best of luck.
John, thank you.
All right.
Always
Good
a
luck on
pleasure.
your recovery,
Thank
too.
you, man.
I'm
It's
glad
always
you
a pleasure.
came through it with
Thank
flying colors. Thanks, and you come
Thank
back
you, John.
again. Andy Souza, the great guy over at the Community Food Bank. He's the CEO. We're glad to have him today. Go out there and donate your time, money, food, whatever you can this holiday season and throughout the entire year. We're back tomorrow with another edition of Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno. We'll have an oral surgeon in the building tomorrow. Do you need a root canal, my friends? Back with another edition of Connect with Me tomorrow. Have a good one.